Spit guy, bar. And it's it's funny, B, because when when I first got into the city, looking for just trying to get connected, looking for artists that are doing stuff, trying to just get connected. And your name was one of the names that popped up, because at the time you had was it a mixtape or was it a project?
When did you get here?
So I think I really started connecting with people in, this is 2019, 10. So this is around 2004, 2005.
I don't know what I was doing. I probably had something. I never actually completed a project.
Where? Okay, wait a minute.
I never actually completed a project.
Let me see if I have it on here.
You can find like songs on the internet of me.
Right.
And there's like pages for me and things. If you look, there's things out there, but there's no whole project. I have zero completed projects. That's like my claim to fame. I'm like Mike Phenom. Except Mike Phenom actually finished a project, and now I'm the only one. I'm like, I don't have a project out.
Oh, I have it on my other hard. I got it somewhere on a hard drive.
I'm sure you have.
There's a folder
songs.
that says Max Smith.
I'm sure you got mad songs. It's probably like a 5-track mixtape, like thingy, like a teaser or something. But that wasn't until like 2011 or something like that.
Okay.
That was like right before I quit.
Okay. And we're gonna leave this up there. I'm just gonna let that ride, man. If y'all are checking this out on any of the podcast networks, remember you can catch some. Oftentimes I'll post videos on the YouTube page. Just go to YouTube/DJ Klyph, man, and you can check out visuals. Shout out to my guy Tope. Tope was like, man, I'd love to see sometimes videos of the people that you're doing interviews with.
Tope always got good ideas.
Tope's a dude, man, for real. But anyway, bro, how you been, man?
I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah?
Just been working a lot, and I got a baby. So spending a lot of time with the baby and working.
And I can imagine that has changed things for you fairly significantly.
It has, man, because my kids are teenagers, you know what I mean?
Right.
So to have a baby all of a sudden is quite an adventure, but it's kind of nice because it brings the family together a lot. So I spend a lot of time with the family now. Everyone just wants to be around the baby. So we at least get to kick it. It's kind of cool. Like I feel like an old man. I got a little gray patch in my beard now. I'm like, yeah, I'm old now. What's popping? You know, what you going to
do? It's funny because before we turn the mics on, thinking, man, what are we going to get into? And, perspective is interesting. From my perspective, you're doing so much, bro. Like you're involved in so many things here. I'm gonna just run it down. But actually, questions first. So, off top, I think one of the things that you've consistently been doing for a while is the monthly event at Kelly's Olympia and the Thesis.
Yeah. And
congratulations, y'all just recently celebrated 4 years of doing that joint.
For complete years. Yeah.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Can you give me the history of the Thesis, where that started?
What's funny is I get asked that question all the time. I never got an answer. But basically, I was trying to do a show at the time. We Out Here as a magazine was really kind of doing a lot of things, and we had a lot of good people really, working on projects. And I really wanted to throw a show. I really wanted our own rap show. I've hated rap shows in Portland for so long. I love rappers and I hate the rap shows.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it, and I felt like I wanted to do it right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it with a college. So I was really trying to reach out to OSU and Oregon and University of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually ended up getting a call from KPSU because they were also trying to do a party.
Mm-hmm.
So we started talking about it. I met with Blake Hickman. He was the guy there at the time. And I think we both actually hollered at Verbs. I think we kind of both did it at the same time. Like, hey, you busy there once a month for Thursdays? And he was like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And then I hit up Janessa. Mm-hmm. And the four of us kind of got together, and we called Blossom, and we called a couple of other friends, and we were like, what do you guys think about this? And they were like, yeah. And I hollered at Daylon's. I had been at Hungry Hip Hop at Mississippi Pizza, which is like another staple around here, Yeah. And I met Daylon's and Fontaine, mm-hmm. and Daylon's was still doing the stuff with Five Eyed Jedi back when he was Chance, mm-hmm. and we went in the back of the thing and just freestyled, and that's like honestly it's one of the few. That's probably like the last 5 times I've gotten like a good freestyle and really just got in there, and it felt great, and I just loved their energy. It was so perfect and so positive, and I called them up and I was like, hey, would you guys be interested in doing this show I've got coming up? And it's and then I called up Load B. And they were like, yeah, and we all just met up and we talked about it and we figured out what we were going to do, and we did a show, and we called it the Kelly's Olympian, and they had always been good homies of ours, through We Out Here. We'd always promote a lot of shows there, and they always showed hip-hop a lot of love, even when they didn't have to, and it was not advantageous for them to do that. So yeah, it was just, it just kind of came together. And then the first one happened and people were like, this is really dope. And then we kept going and it got really popping, and it goes through like it swings where it's like super way too popping, and then it's like kind of back to normal where it should be, and then okay, get some more, it's January, New Year's month, and then back to something else. So it's always really a whole lot of fun. But I think that what we've done now over the years has come to a point where there's really consistent quality artists every month, and there's really no slack in the game anymore. Like, even if the show is not packed out, like, we want them to always be packed out, and they're packed out a lot.
Yeah.
But even when they're not, like, our show in January was 4 days after New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So we knew it was not going to be a crazy one, but we still just said, screw it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and, got some packed music artists, and they drove up from California. We put them up in a hotel, and they're just and they're hungry, and we're trying to get it in. And Yoshi Vintage killed it, and Glenn Waco came out and killed his set and did like new music that no one's ever heard before, and that's what we really want. So the people that were there, the 45 people that paid to get in, they got a really good show, and they got a really intimate show. And you put 45 people in the front of Kelly's Olympian, there was still a mosh pit,
right?
You know what I mean? So there's really no losing there,
and that's one of the cool things I think is you've been consistent with doing the thesis for so long. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the thesis started in a time where it was more than hip-hop not necessarily being advantageous to a venue like Kelly's. At that time, hip-hop, it wasn't advantageous for any venues to do hip-hop because there was a lot of negative press around hip-hop, around rap in the city of Portland.
At the time, they were really trying to frame local hip-hop shows like they were gang gatherings,
right?
Which sometimes there are gang members at rap shows, but that doesn't make it a gang gathering. Sometimes there's gang members at Safeway,
right? Right.
That's probably more of a gang gathering than a rap show,
right?
I feel much safer at Thesis than I do at my neighborhood at Safeway on Southeast Powell.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's just real, but that's just the way they were framing it. And that's what they do when they want to get rid of something. They make it a big deal. They make small things, big things. We had a guy have a seizure at a show at Kelly's Olympian, and the police came in with like 4 or 5 cars.
Yeah.
For what? Just to escalate the situation and make it worse?
People
are hurt, you know what I mean? So, but, I think we fought back, and I think that having our T's crossed and our I's dotted, that's helped us over time. And then just not having issues, taking care of our events and being the people that usher our own events. And if we're going to do that, then, we're going to take responsibility,
right?
And make sure that people are looking out. If I'm at the Thesis, I have other people that are looking out for me, who are looking out at other people and letting us know if there's issues.
Right.
And that's really important, because it is a situation where there's alcohol involved. It's a party scene.
Yeah.
People are turning up, just sometimes to wild lyrics or whatever. And you gotta keep an eye on people.
Right.
Sometimes people are young and experienced, or they're trying to pop mollies, and you don't know. So you have to kind of keep an eye on things and make sure that your own parties don't get out of control.
Yeah.
And I think that, honestly, that the Thesis' best gift to the city, I think, has been setting a model of how to throw a show, and how to throw a show series and start to throw a show series. From the art to the lineup styles to the way that people promote now, I think a lot of that has to do with the example that we set. And I think that shows like Mic Check as well have set an example and said, this is the way that this works. Bottom line, this works. You don't need to have 19 rappers. You don't need to pay to play. You do need to pay everybody.
Right.
Everyone needs to get paid.
Right.
All these things have to happen.
Right.
And every single time. And always. And when the show's supposed to happen, it should happen every time. And the people who are on the bill should be on the bill at least 95% of the time. You know what I mean? Because you're still dealing with rappers, and you can't get them all the time. But 95% of the time, you know what I mean? You should get what you expect. The price should be right. The price shouldn't change because it's popping now.
Right.
These things have to be under control so that people can see it's worth coming to. And now we have people that just come every month. They don't even know who's on the show. Right. I had a guy at the show the other day asking me, and he was there last month, who's on the bill this month? You're here.
Right. Right. So people are coming to
you already
the
paid.
Thesis, right?
You already paid. You're in the venue. You're asking me because Verbs is warming up the crowd.
Right.
You're asking me who's playing.
Right.
You're just here.
Yeah. Well, so correct me if you feel like this is out of bounds, but to me, it's my perception that when we look at a lot of the changes that have happened in the city in terms of the perception and reception of hip hop in Portland, I feel like the thesis is a significant part of changing that narrative because of what you just described.
I think so, and I hope so. That's really, that was our goal in doing it, was to have a show that would that would last, and that would be a lasting thing, and kind of show like, hey, we can do this. And I feel like now with having the touring, I hope that we that I'm right, and that leading the pack and people kind of taking those decisions that we're making and then emulating them is going to be a positive thing, because I'm trying to do a lot this year.
Right.
So hopefully, like this year, like I think we've had touring artists for the last 3 or 4 months.
That's what's up.
And I'm not trying to stop. We have Marco Paves coming out from Memphis again. This in February.
Yeah.
So and we may also have a Seattle artist on that bill as well. So we might have a couple of out-of-town artists on the next bill. But that's working for us.
Right.
And I think that if we can kind of grow that, because our traveling artists are not just the guys that can play the Roseland and the Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Some of them are smaller guys, and some of them are really, really dope.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are really, really, really dope.
Yeah.
But they're just not at that level yet.
Yeah.
And they're still out there like, hey, I've got a show in Bremerton. Is it cool if I pop down to Portland and do a show too?
Yeah.
And we're all about that. So, or if I have to just buy, somebody a plane ticket and be like, hey, you and your DJ, here's a couple of plane tickets to come out here.
Right.
I'll buy them a couple months in advance to make sure it's not too expensive.
Yeah.
And and that's what we do. That's how we get it done.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple times. You mentioned the fact that doing things with We Out Here and the We Out Here magazine team. That's another thing that you've been involved with for quite some time. Shout out to SB, Jake Espinoza, who's been on the podcast before, and we've talked about the things that he's done, that he was doing, and you sort of took that over and continued to grow the magazine. And We Out Here magazine, for those who don't know, it's an online magazine, and I feel like it is one of those go-to places if you're curious as to, who should I be listening to? I'm coming into Portland, what's going on in the city? Or, I'm from Portland and I want to know what's happening back home because now I'm, on the East Coast or I'm in the Midwest. You've again done I think a good job of reaching even outside of the region with We Out Here. What's the vision for the magazine at this stage, at this point?
Excellent question. I mean, I consider We Out Here to be defunct by all real means. It's not generating any money. There's the business end of it has pretty much I just haven't done anything with it, honestly, for close to 2 years.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of posts here and there. Somebody that's like, hey, I really want a We Out Here feature. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, I'm telling you, like, nobody's on here right now.
Yeah.
But they still want it. But honestly, the thing that's kept it going really is the social media aspect of it. Still, I still use social media, or we still use, other people still use it sometimes too, the social media aspect of it. And I think that has really kept it. It's weird how the things are now, because before it was like the blog.
Right.
Everything's about, content on the blog and driving views and this, that, and the other, and trying to get, 10,000 views in a day or whatever it is, and trying to have big articles and how many reads and how much are we impacting people by having them read. And for me, it was always a matter of give people music, and then give them like something to think about, and really try to hit them with big articles, and we'd write really thoughtful articles,
right? And
that was really important to me, and that's what we stopped doing. So to me, it's done. Like I still have posted some music and stuff, and talk about some shows or whatever, right. or promoted things, but the substance is gone, in my mind. So the substance now really is has just been behind the scenes, and I've stopped talking, I think, so much outside in that regard, and more just behind the scenes work. So I think that the goal for the magazine, I had a goal of, my resolution in 2019. My two were, the first one is always just to make more money than last year, and then the other goal is to bring We Out Here back.
Yeah.
And the goal, I think, is going to be to really use it differently, and I think that using the social media front is really the most important piece of it.
Yeah.
It's the communication of things, and I think that using that to share music is going to be more important than posting articles on the blogs about music. And focusing on that. And I think that because I was always trying to drive numbers on the blog, and we did do a good job of that, we always made it an effort to post information about the song. So not just post the song and drop them and say, hey, here's a new song from
Right.
Mike Capes.
Right.
But really always write at least a paragraph about what the song is about, or
Right.
who this person is, or why this is important, and why you should listen to it.
Right.
And then we would just post on social media, hey, check this out, click the link.
Right.
You know, and that was the goal, is to get everyone to click the link and read and get some information. But it's just, you know, it's really time consuming, and sometimes you just need, and there's so much good music now.
Yeah.
There was a time when I could say I'm just gonna pick up a song or two a day, and we're good.
Right.
And now it's like that. It's just like Stone Ages. I mean, there's 3 or 4 really good songs from Portland artists, like, you know, a day. I mean, I would say songs like I have to listen to a week is probably in the 10 to 15 range. I have to listen to this song this week.
Right.
You know, and just to be able to say, hey, this is dope, and post it on the way out here, I think, and use that following to generate that kind of attention for people. I think that's useful for artists.
Yeah.
And that was always the goal with We Out Here, was to help the artists. So I had to kind of refocus from what do I want to see, and I'm very metric based in my mind. So I'm like, okay, what are the metrics I'm supposed to be hitting? Where are the views at? Where are my views?
Right.
I'm not getting the views. How can I drive the views? But I need to stop worrying about any of that, honestly, and just do the work. And then just really just, you know, leave it up there.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the goal of what I'm going to do this year, is worry less about doing short form writing, and focus more on just delivering content, and then delivering, you know, long form content.
Yeah.
I think that combination is working. I'm gonna kill the mid range game.
Right.
No mid range game. No Chris Paul. No DeMar DeRozan. Steph Curry. Or Clint Capella.
Max Smith.
That's what I want.
Basketball references.
Yes.
So you've been doing these things in support of the music scene for a number of years now, but you're an artist. Like that was obviously something that you did, like a lot of us, probably because it was a passion of yours, and it was something that you were good at and you enjoyed doing, and you transitioned, you know, again now to being more in support of the artists, and through that process, obviously have seen some of the changes that we mentioned earlier in the city of Portland. Not even a political piece, just in terms of the talent that's here in the city and where that talent is now compared to even, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And a lot of times I like to ask people, I mean, as a curator, I obviously have my sense of, you know, where Portland is, and having the blessing of hearing, you know, getting music from outside of the region. But as someone who was an artist and now is a curator yourself and promoter and these things, I mean, how do you describe Portland hip hop right now, the Portland hip hop scene?
I think it's vibrant, man. That's what I really like about it. I think it's really young. I think it's really brash. I think that they're political. I think that they're artistic. I think that they're stylish. You know, I think it's good, man. And, you know, I feel like they're not trying to be hard. You know, that's really important. You know, they're just out here having a lot of fun. They're really just kicking it. They're making excellent visuals. You know, the visuals match up with their actual realities. You know, I hang out with these guys sometimes. You know, they're really young and I'm not, so not a whole lot. But sometimes I'll be out with some of my buddies and we'll run into them somewhere and be like, hey, you know. But and they're getting it. You know, they're out there getting it. You know, and I'm like, this is what's up, the guys and the girls. And I think that what's really awesome is that it's really a guys and girls scene too. There's a lot of girls that have some power out here. I mean, Win, you got Dodger, you got Karma. I mean, there's girls out here that got some juice. Kayla got juice. Empress got juice. I mean, Raquel's got juice. I mean, up and down the bay. I mean, so I mean, there's really a lot of girls that are working out here and putting a lot of time in the hip hop. You got Jenny, you got Renee, you've got Trona, you've got what is her name? They're everywhere. They're shooting pictures. They're taking things. They're driving the scene, and they're making it look like something that looks like it should, which is, and that's what it is. So their art's imitating life, imitating art, you know, and that's really amazing. I think that's where it needs to be. I think that they've stopped trying to fit a mold. I think the Portland rappers have stopped trying to fit into one of the categories and have just started doing their thing. And you have such an array of styles and voices and you know, and sounds that they come up with. Guys that have sing, girls that do this, guys that do that. It's amazing. You know, there's I mean, I can start anywhere. You know what I mean? I could probably start with 20 different people and say, okay, hold on, wait, this person, you know what I mean? every a few months I write an article for Vortex about who's up and coming, and it's never that hard to figure it out.
Right.
It's not like, dang, who is it? Who's getting it done? I mean, there's folks that are putting out like going almost platinum right now off the streams out of Portland. I mean, you got guys like, I mean, just a favor away. I mean, it's nice as someone that works in hip hop in Portland to be able to call people and say, yo, blah blah blah, I need help with this, and they're like, yeah, I got some plugs too, and they can put it together. We can put together really cool things now.
Right.
We used to have to really struggle to do anything cool,
yeah.
And now we can do a lot of cool things, and we don't have to always do it the same places we used to do. We can do it brand new places, hotel lobbies. I mean, we're doing shows on boats. I mean, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And I think that's an attitude that we picked up a few years ago. We can do whatever we want, and I think the town is running with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good attitude to have when you're in this music business, because you can't feel limited or feel like there's a roof. You have to know I could be hanging out with anybody, anywhere, getting anything, getting signed tomorrow.
Right.
And everyone's just kind of going in that way, and I think it's good. And they're not beefing too much.
No, and that is one of the things that I believe about our scene is, when I first moved to Portland in '94, and like I said, kind of started getting involved in meeting people in the music scene and getting a platform to support and promote that in the early 2000s. But I think early on I felt like there was a bit of a disconnect in the city, and I think some of that was purely geographic. People just live in different areas. But I think now in the age that we live in, where there's so many ways to connect via your cell phone, social media, this, that, and the third, even recording whole projects of people never even meeting one another, I feel like there is a huge collaborative effort more now in the city, and you're seeing, I think you're seeing that help grow the scene, even cross genre, which I think is cool.
Sure.
But I think that's done a great service in helping grow the scene, and I think it's cool, when I have an opportunity to talk to people from outside the region who are like, yo, man, I hear Portland hip hop scene is popping, man.
Right.
I'm gonna try to get out there.
That's one of my favorite things is hearing that, and that's like, it feels good, because we used to go places and people would be like, Portland, you don't rap. There's rappers in Portland.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a joke. Like, what are you talking about? You guys are from Portland. There's nobody rapping. Like, no, there's rappers here, and they're like, okay.
Yeah. Right.
Like, no, this guy's Ill Max Dope, and they'd be like, oh, wait, cool, this is dope. They'd be like, well, I've heard of Cool Nuts.
Right.
That's what they say. I've heard of Cool Nuts. So you always hear you'd be like, whatever, dog. All you know is Cool Nuts. All they ever know. Like, there's nobody else, dog.
Right.
But there's a lot of us out here, and it's cool to see that even like. The other night I was at Mic Check, and it was really cool to see Kayla J. I really like Kayla J. I love her. I really love Kayla. She's great as a person, as an artist. I think she's got a huge upside. I think she's got a bright future ahead of her in whatever she ends up doing for the rest of her life. And then at the end, like it's like, oh yeah, look, it's Mike Crenshaw. That's dope.
Yeah.
And Micah,
yeah,
doing their new thing, and that's awesome. And like even actually early on, there was Destro was on there, and he's a guy I used to look up to, and he still raps just the same. He's got that same flow, and that's awesome, So it's dope to kind of see that even though there's a lot of new things going on, what has been here is not being overlooked. It's still being respected and used and played, and it's still playing a part in the game. So I mean, and that's really dope.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't always happen. No. Sometimes you get the new and the old, and you're like, grease and water, and we can't mix, but. I think that the more that it mixes, the more depth it gives us. I was actually just talking to Virgil. I was like, we got to because we were like, hey, we got to get Serge back on the show.
Yes.
And we were just saying, like, who do we miss last year? Because we focused on a lot of new last year. We did a lot of new.
Yeah.
And I think that's good because, you have to challenge yourself. I think it's really easy to go back to the 12 guys you're really comfortable with having and just rotating them out pretty much a year.
Yeah.
But, switching up new headliners. Can we trust this guy to headline? I don't know. We're going to give it a shot, and going for it and finding guys that have a lot of spark and just saying, let's just run with this and take this, and go with it and doing album release parties for new guys. And I think that was dope, but who did we miss? Who did we, sleep on that? And for us, it was a lot of the guys that had been around for a long time. Yeah. So we want to try and focus on this year. We want to try and bring Tope out. We want to try and, as far as our traveling artist situation, we want to definitely try and bring Tope out. Yeah. We want to bring a lot of guys that have been out and have not. We want to bring Cool Nuts back again. Yeah. We brought him back a few times, but we want to bring him back again. We always do. And a lot of those guys who have held it down, Verse.
Yeah.
got to see Verse on our stage.
Yeah.
Again, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
You know, it's been like 3 years, so we could do that again. But that's a testament to show how deep the pool is.
Right.
I mean, I've got artists coming up the next few months you guys have never seen before.
Yeah.
Out here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe you see them at a show. Maybe you have. Maybe you have. But a lot of other people will have never seen them before. You know, and that's really important to me, is to give, you know, like we had Rome out there tonight. I don't know if you know Rome Raps. He's been doing a lot of small shows,
right,
and doing stuff at different places. We saw him, and Glenn has been working with him, and he was like, yeah, I really want him on the show.
Yeah.
And so actually how long we've been here, I used to be his mom's boss at my day job.
Wow.
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So like, and I was her boss for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So this is how long ago, like,
right.
I've been seeing his picture on his mom's desk, you know.
Right.
She used to always talk about Lil Juan. Sorry, Ro. You know, but it's crazy. And like, I meet him at the show, you know, because we booked him. Like, yeah, absolutely. Yes, I seen the videos. You know, I see him anyway because I knew that she had been sending me and stuff regardless. So I already knew who he was and what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I see him at the show, and he's like, hey, man, Fahim, right? And I'm like, crazy, because this kid knows my, like, you know,
your government name.
Yeah, like, who does that?
Right.
You know, he's like 21 years old.
Right.
But it's really cool, and it's really just good to see it. You know, it's a community.
Yeah.
It's full circle. People I work with at my day job are the parents of people who I'm helping with their rap careers.
Right.
You know, right. And that's dope to me.
Yeah.
He took off and didn't even get his money. I don't think he knew he was supposed to get paid. I'm like, you know, you're supposed to get paid for this.
Right.
Gotta call him and get his cash app.
And that's it, you know, and I think, again, it's good to be in a position to provide some sort of financial support for these young men and women as they are on this journey, because it wasn't always the case, and even today sometimes it's not the case. A lot of free shows. Yeah. And I mean,
that's disrespectful to me.
It's hard, and I have to say, like, because it's you know, having the blessing now of curating a show, it's like, you know, you want to try to put some money in these artists' pockets, because that's how they're going to continue to create art.
Right.
And we see how that's not actions show, in my opinion, that art is not as well supported as it used to be in our formal systems, in the school system, in our cities. You know, we just don't see those resources being put towards that. So how do you, and we see historically the value, the importance of art. And so having the blessing of finding people to support the thesis and these programs that are happening in the city, I think is valuable, to just put a couple dollars in these artists' pockets.
You know what's so crazy is you know why the thesis is successful, to be honest with you? It's the branding.
Yeah,
man, it's just the branding. It's the videos. It's the turn-ups. It's the shots. It's the gifts. It's
you
know, we just create media.
Yeah,
you know, and the way that media is now is just stupid insane. You know, it's just like people just consume media like it's like candy. You know, they just eat it, man. They just eat it, and there's never too much. You know, I could post 80 articles a day, and people would just troll through it. You know, new more. Click the link. Especially if it's on something that's of public, you know, popularity. It's just people just eat it up. You know, you'll get thousands of views just because you use a hot word. You know,
right.
And I think that's how we've really done it. Is we've really just made it that these videos and these pictures and these images, and we've made it it's a thing where artists in the city, they know that if they come to this and work and do this show, they're gonna get so much media out of it, so much coverage, so many pictures. We're doing all that stuff, and they're just getting that.
Right.
We're not charging them for it. We're just giving it to them. You know what I mean? Right. And I think that's really important. Just, you know, creating things for. So, you know, you were saying before that I was an artist. You know, I was a rapper. And I think that's true. I definitely rapped, and I was definitely a rapper. But I think that the way that my artistic value works might be a little bit different. I think that I was a rapper because that's what expressed what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think that doing things like this, I feel like sometimes it's kind of the same. It's the same feeling, at least for me. You know, we're still putting something together. We're still, you know, going into tedious detail and worrying about little things that may not, you know, seem to matter, but we focus on them, you know, and we make them happen. I think that's kind of my artistic bug now is just putting these things together and making them work.
Yeah.
You know?
You mentioned a bit ago writing, doing articles, sometimes for Vortex magazine. You were doing you did a few, and forgive me, I don't remember the exact number of features for the Oregonian.
Yeah, me neither.
A while ago.
Yeah, that was just a while ago now, man.
Yeah.
It's old history now. That's back when April was the editor, and then she got sent away, and then I got sent away. So I was like, dang, I guess I was like hers. They were like, no, she's gone, you're gone. I was like, oh man, that's not cool. But yeah, that was a huge opening though, and shout out to April for that. She really gave me a huge door to like run through on that one, and I ran through it, and then they closed it. And I was at the back door like, dang, you fast. But I didn't stay in the middle long enough. But you know, I think I did 6 months of articles.
Okay.
So I think it was like 6 articles or 8 articles or something like that. We focused on a lot of different things. I focused mostly on locals. So I did like a front to back like review of the month, which I really hated doing because I felt like that's kind of when things started picking up for Portland hip hop, where a lot of stuff started there was a lot going on that was of value to talk about. Yeah. And it was really hard to talk about it all in like 400 words or whatever I had, you know. Yeah. But we got it done. But I used to have issues because they would edit the crap out of my stuff, man.
Oh, word.
Yeah, they would just do so much editing. So I didn't really complain about it too much, but they would just like take paragraphs out that were so important to what I was trying to get through, and they would take that part away, and I felt like they were taking the soul out of my writing sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, that was a good experience, and I was able to get like, a lot of attention to a lot of artists, and that was really the key thing for me, was just getting as much as I could out. Yeah. While I knew it wouldn't last too long, you know, at the time especially, I was very black for the Oregonian, so.
But I think, you know, I remember when I first saw that you were doing that, my first thought was the Oregonian was the biggest distributed publication in the state of Oregon. Yeah. So now for people in Eastern Oregon, for people in Southern Oregon, I mean, they get to hear about what's happening because they're fans of hip hop all over the state. So now they're getting to hear what's happening in their state.
And those articles are there forever.
Right.
This isn't We Out Here magazine. I could just stop paying, you know, whoever it is I pay for internet service, and then just turn this whole thing off. You know what I mean? GoDaddy. Yeah. Goodbye. Goodbye. We out
peace.
Here. And peace. All your articles gone. Right. All your pictures gone forever.
Yeah.
In perpetuity. You'll never see them again. But with the Oregonian, those things are like archived like forever, and like you know, they're microfilmed and put in like, you know, vaults and stuff. So like that's forever. That's forever. Like when the aliens come, you know, and they're like, what did they do back in the 1900s? They'll be like, they early 2000s, they were bringing in the new year with rap songs. You know, they'll find those. You know what I mean? So I think that's really important. Those things that like my grandkids can find one day by accident. You know, and be like, oh, I'll find the old things and find the old paper or something. You know. So we keep some of those things in the house sometimes, honestly, because like I want like my grandkids to see that, like, oh yeah, my granddad, you know, or my great granddad used to write for the Oregonian. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
That's really cool, man.
You know, some of that stuff is really dope. And even like the Vortex magazine, like I was on the cover of one. I was like, and really just because like it was a good shot of me. It was really no other reason. It wasn't because I was really important or anything, but I helped him with the photo shoots for the thing, and I think I brought a lot of the people out that were in the shoots that he did not expect to have. And you know, he was doing photo shoots with artists around town. And I was like, I bring like Fontaine and you know, Rashid Jamal. I was like, we should get Rashid Jamal, and I hooked up with Kevin K to do the or Kevin H to do the shooting work, you know, and you know, we ended up shooting the cover, and I was just BSing around. I had just got the first grill, and I was goofing her off and just taking pictures and stuff, and like one of them just kind of looked like, you know, like, get out my face, man. And he just put it on the cover of the thing. I didn't even know until he was like the day before he was gonna put it, like, so we're using your picture, and I'm like, which one? You know, what are you talking about? So, but it's fun, like, you know, to be able to have that, and have my, you know, kids be able to see that it's possible, even if it's just locally, to you know, be on the face of something, to be, you know, recognized and known for doing good things. Yeah, you know, that's really important to me. So you know, like with the thesis, we don't make any money. You know,
right? Yeah, but, tell me about it.
But it's great work, you know, and so for people to get excited about it, you know, get excited about me is awesome and flattering. Right. But for me, it's really just it's all about the work. Yeah. And the work feels good, so I do the work. You know.
Yeah. That's what's up. Chopping on my guy Max Smith, man, on the Klyph Notes podcast. Real quick, I just want to give a big shout out to our folk Acapella Apparel. They've been supporting the Klyph Notes podcast for well over a year now, and want to encourage you to check them out, man. They've released some really really cool gear. So check them out, Acapella Apparel. It's AKEPELE.com. And yeah, man, cop yourself some gear. It's wintertime right now here in the Portland metro area, man, and they got some dope hoodies and some beanies for your head. So go check them out. Once again, that's Acapella Apparel, AKEPELE.com. As you're having someone who's in a similar situation, although I don't have the little one to manage, but somebody who, you have a career and you spend a lot of your free time supporting the scene. How do you find balance?
I have a couple careers. I do security too.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that I realized.
So back in the day, I used to bounce the copper penny. Most people don't know that.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so for people who are not from or haven't been to Portland, don't know the history, this dude said he used to bounce the copper penny. I think I may have gone to the copper penny once in my time living in Portland, and the copper penny had a little bit of a reputation, B. I
had free drinks for life there. I was mad when they closed it. I didn't even go there anymore, really. But I would go this time to just grab a drink, man, because we had, I was on love for life.
Right.
I'm on Russian dudes, man. I'll take care of you forever. But yeah. So actually, I do security at Kelly's too. Now,
oh, word.
That's what I do now. So I'm over there now doing security as well. So I have a couple jobs. I do a couple other side gigs too.
Yeah.
So I really don't find balance. I just keep working, honestly. Like I really just. Like I said before, I really am driven by the work. If I'm not working, I'm just not really. I found a couple of hobbies now to to fill my
free time.
Well, I was catching myself sleeping a lot. Like I was like, okay, I'm sleeping because I probably work like between the day job and the night job. I work 50 to 60 hours a week, and then we do the thesis and stuff like that, which is like a day a week, but it's a lot of like planning and plotting and calling and things like that. And like there's a lot of little business transactions and things, and a lot of little work that gets done, but I was like, in between it's just the baby. So like this year I really cut out a lot of the extra stuff. I'm just like, if it's not like if I'm not getting a check, I do like some freelance security stuff too. So like if I'm not getting a check, like I'm just not doing it right now.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing it. So that was kind of like the whole mode this year was like, if I'm not getting a check, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Except for the thesis.
Yeah.
And like little WOM stuff or little rap project stuff. If someone wanted something, then we'll work on that, whatever. But other than that, no. But that was kind of the thing, and then I got bored. Like the baby's like crawling now, like she can stand up.
So let me interject here, Mac. So in my 9 to 5, I work in healthcare. So I think it would be, I would be wrong if I didn't point out the value and importance of getting rest, my friend.
I do rest, but I don't sleep like other people. Like I sleep just like when there's time. You know what I mean? Like
so bad.
So like I might I'll get up in the morning at like 5:30, 5:15, 5:30, and I go to the gym, and then I go to work, and then usually like sometimes I get off work and then I go to my other job, but usually I get off work and then I go home. But I might have to stop and run some errands or whatever on the way home. And I get home around 6 or whatever, 6:30, and then I have the baby. So then it's like baby time, you know what I'm saying? We're on the floor, we're playing, I'm carrying her everywhere, we're talking, we're blabbing at each other, we're just making, googly eyes and whatever else. Right. For the rest of the night, so I get bored, bro. And it's like she's asleep when I want her to sleep. So like then like she might fall asleep at like 8. So then I'm like eating dinner and stuff and doing things and cleaning the house, and then like she's up till like 2 a.m. Like so I'm up till 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So then I sleep from like 2 to 5 and get up and go to work again. You know what I mean? So I got 3 hours of sleep, and then I might have like a nap the next day or something on my lunch break or something. Sleep for 45 minutes, bang, that's a little refresh, and I'm back at it. And I don't eat a whole lot of like meat, like red meat and stuff. So I'm not really like heavy in the stomach. So I'm usually pretty chill for like 4 to 5 hours a day. Anything more than that, really, I get kind of groggy and tired, and that's when I watch like Netflix all day. That's not cool, man.
No, that's
not cool.
Yeah. Do you feel that? I don't know how to ask this. What recharges you then?
The kids.
Yeah.
The kids, really. I mean, the kids and the music.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really think of too much more than that. I mean, basketball, playing basketball and getting injured every week. My wife told me she doesn't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear anymore about your injuries. Every week you got an injury. You turned your ankle. Somebody slapped your hand and broke your wrist. Your fingers busted. I had a cut from a fingernail in my thing that was it was gross for like a week and it would not heal. Scab kept falling out, it was bleeding everywhere. It was horrible. But you know, but like we play hard. So like honestly, that's what gives me like the energy. Is, you know, it's the basketball in the mornings. Yeah. Having the kids and watching my boys play basketball and go to school and get good grades, do things that they do, and you know, and they work out with me and stuff. So I have fun with that because I was kind of lazy on the gym for a minute, and that they're also going to the same gym as me. So we all go to the gym. So they're like, "Dad, get up!" They're trying to get a ride. They're trying to get the bus. Get up, go to the gym. So I'm going to the gym all the time now with a bunch of high schoolers, and they're just trying to go hard. And I'm like, I'm ready to go home. Like, no, not time yet. You know. So it's like that's what gives me the energy. Honestly, I think the work. You know, and again, just seeing the products of little bits of influences that I get to have here and there, and little bits of advice I get to give people here and there, and seeing it manifest somewhere else through that person's work. You know, not as my credit, but as work that they did, and I can see the little bit of influence I may have had, or I can see that I might be able to help, or I can just be like yes, and just push the button and retweet and go you. You know what I mean? So just to be able to support and feel like you're a part of the scene, I feel like people always just want to be a part of something. You know what I mean? And what I do is really no different, and my intentions are no different. I want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? I've been a part of it so many different ways, and the way that I'm a part of it keeps evolving. You know, and I think that's okay. I think it's okay to evolve in who you are as an artist. I feel like people always say, hey, you could still have a rap album. I could probably still go out there and drop a little album or whatever. What am I really going to talk about? Like, I don't live the life I used to live. I don't live, like, I'm not in the club all the time and kicking it with people and hanging out and doing things that I'm not supposed to do. I don't live like that anymore. So like, what am I going to rap about now? Like having babies and paying taxes? Like it's different. You know what I mean? So like, I could, but I'm not like Jay-Z. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not that old. You know what I mean? So I'm not ready for any of this. I'm just chilling in the middle. You know what I mean? And I'd rather just not do any of that and have a great time and just enjoy the ride. Just just where I am. You know.
I ask this question oftentimes of people who I admire or people who I am a fan of, because I feel like I do admire and am a fan of many people here in the city. And you kind of alluded to it a little bit, like when people give you props. Does it resonate with you at all? Of the impact that you've had on? I mean, the things that we've talked about. I mean, this is stuff that you.
I'm a really ridiculous person when it comes to like just thinking about things. Like I'll sit there and think about something like the smallest thing for like an hour, right? But like, it can throw my whole day. It'll just change my whole day. You know, like if I'm just walking and I'm just on Instagram and I see like random homie that I haven't seen in 3 years, like, yo, shout out to Mac for blah blah blah. When he put this thing up and it's like some article I wrote for some magazine like 5 years ago, and he's just like, this really was like high point of my career. Something like that, man. Just like, I'll just sit there and think about that whole era. That whole month of when that happens, and I'll go back to other things I was doing that month, and like you get all the stories of what my boys were doing and blah blah and what other shows I went to that time, and it's just like I can get stuck. I thought I could probably waste an hour. Sorry, boss, if you listen. I could probably waste an hour or two at work just sitting there thinking about, and then going back and looking online for old articles. Oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah, I remember that. And then it's kind of just going off in the history and the stories, And that's awesome to me. Like that. Like so to say, does it resonate? It definitely does. Like I definitely do it for the for the feeling of having an effect on people. So when someone says, hey, you had an effect on me, like that's absolutely why I did it. So that's exactly what I was here for. You know what I mean? So like I don't feel like sometimes I feel like, should I say that? Should I feel like, no, that's cool, I don't really trip, But I feel like, no, I am. I'm really psyched about it. Like, thank you. I'm so happy that you enjoyed the little bit of help I was able to offer you at some point. Or the little bit of advice I was able to give you, the one little gem maybe that stuck with you that I said out of the 8 million things I talked your head off about. One thing stuck with you, and maybe that helped you a little bit, and that's awesome to me. Like,
well, no, and I think that's cool, bro, because I'm, maybe in part just because of the years that I've been graced to be on this planet, but I'm a firm believer in, we need to appreciate people while they're here to receive it. So I'm glad that you feel that way, and I hope that people will continue to show their appreciation for all the work that you've put in over time in the different areas, because I think you have definitely shown that you've at the very least, you provided platforms for people to take advantage of to progress their careers, whatever they choose to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put anybody on my shoulders and run with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my position in the game.
Yeah.
My position is to open doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a doorman. You know what I mean? I open doors for people and hope they run through.
Yeah.
You know, and if I can build a bridge, I'll build a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I try to do, is build bridges and open doors. You know,
yeah.
if we can do that, then do it. You know, and also, honestly, I like when I can just go and get my hands dirty. I like when I can just go work on something. When everyone's like, okay, who's gonna do that? Sometimes I'd be like, yo, let me do it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Let me design the artwork this time.
Right.
Let me do the lights
yeah.
at the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let me handle that. Like, that's fun.
Yeah.
Because you get to just take over. Oh man, look, the cameraman's gone. I'm shooting tonight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's get my hand. So it's like, you know, because like I somehow get to be in a position where I usually just kind of get to call shots
mm-hmm.
and maintain kind of a I don't know what to call it, a standard.
Yeah.
But there's always some overage of work.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I mean, it's picking up artists and driving them around. That's awesome. You know what I mean? And doing shopping for a list or whatever, picking things up for, you know, decorations or whatever. Like, let's go get our hands dirty. And I think that's what's really awesome about the work, is like going to get to do the work, you know, actually meeting with the artist and driving out and and grabbing a coffee and doing those things and getting a chance to know who they are before I book them.
Right.
You know, talking to artists, make sure I've talked to everyone in person or at least over the phone before we put a flyer out, make sure that everyone's on the same page, answer any questions anyone has. That kind of stuff and being of service is really awesome to me. Like, I think that's just that experience, and people being like, wow, like just working with these artists the other day from Pack Music that came up from Cali. Yeah. You know, it was cool. Like they were at the hotel, there was a check-in problem. I was at work. I got off in like 15 minutes. I was like, screw it. I got off work. I drove downtown. I was going to be there in 20 minutes. I was there in 15. Yeah. I was able to meet them there. You know, that feels good, to be able to like provide someone good service. And they're like, wow, I just called my manager and he said you were on the way and you're here. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm here. I give them the credit card information. They run stuff, and all right, man, it's good. I chop it up with them for like 15 minutes and I take off. Yeah. And they get to go and check in, do their thing. And, you know, we take care of them. We got them valet parking so they didn't have to park anywhere because they were, staying downtown. Yeah. You know, things like that are important to me. Like those little bits of extras. I could have stuck up in like a Motel 6. Right. But I could spend like 25 more bucks and put them in like a nice hotel downtown. You know what I mean? It's the day after. It's a Thursday. Yeah. It's available, you know? Yeah. So I feel like being able to impress people and give people a little bit of a wow, that was really nice. And I'm going to remember that guy because he was helpful. Right. That's important to me. I want people to remember me that way. Yeah. You know?
In doing that, you know, I go back to a statement you made earlier in our conversation. You know, I'm a paraphrase, but essentially setting a standard not just for the thesis, but setting a standard for what it should look like when you're doing a show in Portland, Oregon. Yeah. And then, you know, you look at other events like, I mean, I'm sitting here like getting game from you, man, for what we do with Mic Check and some of the other events that happen in Portland, and say, wow, that's something to consider, that that we want to do as much as we can to support the artists, to treat the artists well, to make sure that their full experience is a good experience, that they walk away from that feeling good about our scene.
And me and Verb have talked about it so many times, you know, and Blake, so many times, you know, Verbs really runs the stage, you know, and our shows start on time. Yeah. We send out an email every month to everyone involved in the show, from the photographers to the videographers to the artists to the managers, that has all the information about the show, how much it costs, what it's going to be, the load-in times, the check times, everyone's set times, down to the 5-minute start times, and we are always on time. Yeah. We work hard to make sure that we're organized and on time, and that's like the most important thing. Like, because again, it's so easy to say, hey, we're going to have a rap show, and then wait till everyone shows up and figure it out. Right. You know, that, oh, we don't have that. And then we have so many people now doing different things, because Bacardi now is doing the bars. Sometimes they give us wristbands, sometimes they give us stamps, sometimes they give us little thing. I mean, we just don't even know what's going to happen until we get there. And it's like, wow, we've organized all these things and focused. It's so important. And then it's like, there's all these other things on the side that are working off. There's like an extra bar back there now. We have a whole thing that goes on there. We have merch booths. I hook those up on the side, so we do those sometimes with people and bring people out to sell merch, or the artists sell their merch. Sometimes we have sponsors that are in there at the tables doing stuff, and we just make sure we just have everything versus a spreadsheet of all the artists for all time.
Yeah.
It's just like it's the organization level. To me, that's what's. I mean, again, but I've been in the corporate world for a long time too. But it's like that's how you have to get things done. If you're going to organize a project, you have to organize like a project manager, not like a rapper who's doing things besides rapping now.
And I can speak to that, man, because I feel like for me, I have to do a certain amount of that simply because having a career, if it's not, or like you said, if it's not on the spreadsheet, if I don't have those things, the communication is done.
What if you
checked
forget?
Off? I got to go to work. You know what I mean? So let me make sure that y'all emails are out. I got my responses. I don't got to worry about that until. So, but I think a good. And the reason that I like talking about that is because I think that these are pieces that are important and valuable for artists who are younger coming up, what they can expect. But for those people who are artists now, who 15 years, 20 years from now, if the world lasts that long, that now they're promoters or now they're managers. Hey, these are little things that I can do to make my job easier.
Yeah.
Learn this stuff now, understand these things now. That'll help you become a better organized individual. Then you will show up on time because you see the value in doing that. And then you'll pay that forward when you're a manager, when you're a promoter.
No, I totally agree. And, I was just recently talking to a manager of some younger artists, and they were running into stuff, doing younger artist things and having issues. And he was like, man, what it's like? These guys are like young. I was like, yeah, like 21. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm like, I work with rappers every day, bro. Right. So like, I dig it. And he's like, yeah, okay, you feel me. I'm like, it's not a knock at all. It's just like when people are young, people do young people things.
Exactly. Regardless of what it is, whether you're an artist,
they just don't know what's expected of what people expect, especially people that our age expect. And we're like, this is okay. We've been doing this forever now. We kind of know this doesn't work, so don't do that anymore. Right. But you guys don't know yet, so you're doing what you have to do, or you just like. People's not having IDs, stuff like that. You don't have an ID.
Come on, man.
You don't have an ID,
Come on, man.
Come to rock, you don't have an ID. Like, okay, now I gotta.
Right.
And it's just not a Kelly's. I don't have any pull here. I can't help you with these guys. Right. I don't know these security guys. I can't pull no strings for you. Yeah. I know you're 22 years old, but they don't. Exactly. And your beard isn't convincing anybody. You know. So it's like there's just stuff like that, and just being able to work with artists. I think even just through the thesis. I think it's just like a little bit of a chance to just make sure that people understand this. There is a positive way to do things where you're not going to have a lot of stress, and this is really easy. And wow, remember that we did the thesis? Yeah. And that was really easy. Hey, what did they do? Right. And then to kind of remind myself, like, yeah, okay, yeah, because I'm not going to hold a class on how to teach, on how you should do business with people, and not be a jerk, or just do what you say. Yeah. But I can at least just do it. Yeah. And then people can see that I did that and see how it made them feel, and maybe they'll want someone else to feel the same way when they're doing the same thing. And that's all you can do, man. No doubt. I'm not really big on preaching, but I'm definitely big on doing as much as I can. If I can't, I don't do everything right, but if I can, I try and do as much as I can.
Well, and like I said, man, I think what you've demonstrated over time with all of those pieces that we've talked about shows that you've done a good job of creating really positive relationships, but then also putting forth positive examples of how to do things right. And so, again, I admire that, and I look at the work that you've done and appreciate it. And that's why it's such a blessing for me to have you come through and
thank you, man.
Chop it up.
So nice, man. I was blinded by your watch temporarily. I appreciate the kind words.
This dude. I guess it would be fair to say, there's if people are if people are wondering like who's Mac Smith feeling right now, just look at the thesis lineup. Would that be fair to say?
I mean, that's pretty good, honestly. And it's kind of funny that you say that, because people were like, people ask me, who do you think is hot? And I'm like, I put a show out every month. Right. Yeah, there you go. There's your answer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like who keeps coming back? You know what I mean? But that's not always the case, because one thing for us again is that for us, it's not taking the hottest artists that we haven't had yet and putting them together. It's really a matter of putting together a show, and really a matter of putting together a lineup that transcends a rap show and makes you feel like you went to a concert. I used to hate it. I used to hate it, Klyph. I used to hate it when people would have like Buju Banton come, and then it'd be like, who's opening Cool Nuts? I'd be like, that doesn't really make sense, bro. Like maybe we should have somebody that does like and it's not a knock on Kuna.
No, but it's about match. It's about feel. It's about creating an experience.
It's about the match. I remember one time, I think it was Young Thug came or something, and they put like Luck on there, and I'm like, that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe we should put someone that's more like that.
Right.
Maybe we should put Casa with maybe we should put Kunuts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When 40 comes to town, which he does anyway. But you know what I'm saying? But like there's genres that work together.
Yes.
There's things that work together. Sometimes there's things that you wouldn't expect to work together, but they do. And that's what we try to capture in our shows, are those moments, those transition moments. Everyone loves it when you go from one thing to another, and that transition makes you go, ooh, that's what DJing's about, and that's what making music's about, and production's about, so rapping's about, having that's what the point of having bars is, because you want to have that switch, right? So I mean, for me, it's all about having artists to have dynamic sets to do that within their sets, but then at a larger scale, you know, the planets and the solar system and the, you know what I'm saying, like. And you kind of have that whole feeling going all the way up, and you don't know exactly what it is, but you can feel it. Yeah. You know, and me and Verbs will talk about it, and Blake, and Jenny, and Renee, honestly, and everyone gets input if they want it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Burgundy and everybody, and we just talk about stuff. Sometimes it's Blossom and whoever is just in our circle at the time. You know, and we talk about what we want and how it's going to feel, and we talk about, you know, it in pretty, you know, concise terms, as far as what we want and why things just don't feel right. Maybe that will feel forced. Maybe that seems like we're doing too much. Maybe it's really important to make it feel right, and then once we get it, something usually goes wrong, and then we slam something in there. We're like, that works even better. Oh, then it's just like over, you know. And it's like, we're like, we did it, you know. Like with having Empress on this last show, she wasn't supposed to be on there originally. That wasn't the original plan. And then the last second we ended up getting Empress, and it was like, and it was like, it made everything bigger, you know, because she fit that vibe already with Glenn and Yoshi and what we were already trying to do. And she actually made it even better, you know. And then we was able to kind of make it a thing, because we hadn't had an under 21 artist in a really long time. So we brought her out, and she was great. She was not causing any issues, and she didn't try to sneak people in, and she was great, and we had a great time, you know. I think that's I mean, it's fun. I don't remember the question anymore. I just went on
no. I think, you know, again, just appreciating appreciating what you've done consistently, and how impactful it's been on not just the scene, but on the artists that you have provided that platform for, and then as a result of that, I think showing not just our city or our region, but whoever's paying attention, you know, who's Max Smith messing with right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say I'm rocking with Kayla J. Yeah. I'm rocking with Boca. Yeah. I'm rocking with XO Supreme. Yeah. I'm rocking with Load B. Yeah. I'm rocking with Karma. Yeah. Gosh, I'm so hard to think like who am I not rocking with?
Right. I mean, I'm
rocking with Daylons. Yeah. I'm rocking with Squatch. I'm rocking with Ep. I'm stay rocking with Tope. Yeah. You know, I'm rocking with Yoshi now. That's like the new homie. I rock with Aaliyah Zen. Still follow her. Her freestyles are dope. I'm rocking with Win. What she's got coming out is gonna be amazing. Yeah. I'm rocking with Meek Mill. You know, but I'm rocking with really a lot of the artists in Portland. I don't put people on that I don't rock with. So like really, like if you've played the thesis, you already know what it is. And if you haven't, even I rocks with Surge. You know, I rocks with D3. Yeah. I rocks with Raheem Thornhill. Rocks with Verbs, obviously. Yeah. Rock with what's his name? Just put something out with Boca. T Soprano. He doesn't go by T Soprano anymore, is he? Is that West Soprano? He goes by Soprano still, right?
I think so.
Spoon. Goes by Spoon.
That's right.
Goes by T
Spoon.
That's right. Yeah, sorry, young folks. You know, I mess with Flyboy Mo. Oh yeah. You know, I mess with a lot of stuff. I mess with the whole Black Mannequin movement. You know, I really don't have any of the clothes yet, so I'll be out here liking everything, but I haven't bought anything. Sorry, guys. Right. But I'll be out there. You know,
and they just had their. By the time this is available, it will have been open. But they had their grand opening today. Yeah. For their brick and mortar, which is dope.
The brick and mortar there. Yeah, for sure. And then I rock with the Trap Kitchen. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's so many dope things going on in Portland, and not just rap music, but just so many.
But hip hop. So now we can
say. I rock with Amine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's just like it just goes on and on. You know, it really goes on. I messed with the dude from Vancouver who was singing the hooks, who blew up. I did an article about him for Vortex a bit ago, and I can't think of his name. And he's tall and he's light skinned and he croons. Maybe he'd be blowing though. Yeah. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Oh, it makes me mad.
It's gonna come to you.
It's gonna come to you. But he's dope. I mean, there's Mike Capes.
Of course.
There's the whole Resistance.
Right.
There's Rashid Jamal's rap career and his modeling career. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many dope things that are just happening at this moment. You know, there's Dante Thomas. Can't forget Dante
with his rap career and his modeling career.
His rap career and his modeling career. D Marks with his rap career, his weed career, and you know, it's like you know, there's just so many people doing dope things. You know, I rock with the whole movement that what's his name's got going on with the Society College. You know, the Society College movement. That's what's going on.
Oh yeah.
There's the radio station, the Numbers.
Right.
That's going on.
Right.
There's just so much dopeness, you know, going on, and you know, Sam Thompson's been doing a ton of work. You know, it has been for years. You know what I mean? So I feel like the side of Portland that I'm from is really holding it down, representing. I mean, I feel like my generation is really opening doors for people all over the place. Sharista Tyree.
Yeah.
I mean, even cats in the younger generation are picking that up and picking up the slack for people, you know, in theirs. And I mean, I mess with Compound. I mess with Bro Pluto. I mess with Solomon. I mess, you know, like. You know what I mean? Like, so these are the people out here that are I mess with Trox. Yeah. These people are putting the work in, man. Like, I'm gonna talk to. I mess with Grape God. You know, I mess with Skelly Scale. I mess with the guys over at Airst.
Yeah.
I see Neil all the time, like literally all the time. I see Neil. We just talk. You know, I mean, man, I mess with all those guys over there, man. And it's just I mess with Mike Bogan. I went to his album released earlier this year. Yeah. It was really dope. I got to see Trey Rideau. Hadn't seen him in a while. I rock with Trey Rideau. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I got to see Manny Monday. I hadn't seen Manny in a while. I mess with all the sore losers. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I mess with Kid Indigo. He's got a great sound. I like what he's doing. The visuals are amazing. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, like, I'm actually hungry to write again. Because I feel like there's so much going on that's just so good. Keith Canvas. I rock with Keith Canvas. You know what I mean? Like...
But so I think for me that's what I love hearing is that you are I'm excited for the return of We Out Here magazine in whatever format, because I think again it does such a great job of letting people outside of the region know what's happening here. You know, we often talk about the influx of or the growth of the population in this area, and so when people are coming into this area, it's great to know that there's going to be a resource that they can go to say, oh, okay. Like I don't know this simply because I'm new to the area. Okay, here you go. Right. You know, this will.
Yeah, I feel like that's important, and I feel like that's been missing, at least for me, to be able to say, hey, you can just check here, and you know it's going to be updates. Right. And I think that's important, and I definitely am looking forward to try to bring that back a bit. Perhaps not in the exact same way as before. Yeah. And it depends, you know, because people might be like, hey, I want to get involved.
Yes.
And then, you know, I have involvement, and I'm sure that's going to happen once we start moving. You know, people, it's just the easy. It's. I try to make it easy for people, you know, and I try to work in a way where it's not issues and you don't have drama and things like that. I'm trying to just create. You know, I want creatives to be able to write and publish and take pictures and publish and do whatever they have to do, and you know, throw events and whatever else, whether it's me and Carmen throwing a kickball game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or, you know, I mean, we did that a couple of years ago. We didn't even really talk about it. We just did a kickball game.
Yeah.
And all these rappers and stuff just came out. We had like a giant kickball game. Like my son came out and played. They smoked us. Oh my God. We got beat 21-0. We got demolished.
Okay, all right, y'all got you got.
We targeted Renee at the end because we were like, "There's no way she can catch it."
Yeah.
And somebody kicked it at her and she caught it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!" She was like, "What?
Yeah.
Got the ball."
Yeah.
You know, this is just it was horrible. The girls kicked our behinds. We were all just like they had a couple of guys and they knew what they were doing, and the girls just knew what they were doing. They had a game plan. They were ready. We were just out there like, you know,
but Mac, though, what a cool thing though, to, you know, another opportunity to bring the community together. Just as like, not on some, oh, we got to do a show situation. Or no, we're people who we enjoy one another's company and we want to.
Like I said, I have a lot of plans this year. I don't want to put them all out there yet, but I feel like there's a lot of things we can. I feel like we really get stuck in the rut of doing music for everything and then doing like panels. Yeah. And I feel like there's got to be more. Yeah. You know, there's got to be something else we can do. Yeah. To reach people, and so we're gonna just trying to work on some things that are a little bit different, perhaps even out of the box. Yeah. I want to do. I really want to do. I threw a comedy show last year, on the low. Yeah. That was weird. It didn't go very well. But, you know, but I want to do.
Try stuff.
But I want to do. But I want to do more stuff. You know what I mean? Like I want to try and like produce more things and like invest in more things. I'm trying to work with a local artist now who has a design I like and put it on beanies and sweatshirts.
Word.
You know, and see if I can just help with that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
can we do that? Like, I got a little bit of budget we can wiggle with. Maybe we can make this work, and
Right.